and our topic of the day is the intersection or the connection between psychology, creativity, and UI UX design. So let's understand how psychology and creativity affects or supports UI UX design, or it how it helps to shape it. So first let's understand what is the role of psychology. First, we are talking about cognitive biases. So, what do we mean by cognitive bias? It is making systematic decisions, or systematic pattern where we are taking decision and they are deviating somewhere, not being very rational. Uh, s- that is the meaning of cognitive biases. For example, we make anchoring biases. So, a user, what it actually means is, like, we what is the first piece of information that is being put to us creates a more significant effect or weightage over the next or the other pieces of information that has to come on later on. So for example, it's basically we are telling certain things. For example, what designers do is they put the necessary information or the information they want them to believe at the very first. So what happens is we are adding that information, and due to anchor biases, and also we are also letting the user take that as a perception and then start believing that. So that is one of the importance. And also framing effects, if we are talking about there's a way how we portray things. For example, a product is being launched in the market, uh, and imagine it's a product of juice, and it says it is 80% real juice. So they are not going to market like it's 20% sugar, or 20% it's not very real, there are chances of other chemicals mixed. Nobody portrays that way. What we will be portraying on is the fact that it is 80% juice. So the positive feedback or the positive comments on a certain topics uh, is a very good sign, or it's a very good way to keep the user interactive and sticking onto your platform, because a positive, or it can influence users decisions. Let's talk about the second topic, that is mental models. So that is we are designing according to users ideas and their experiences. For example, we are going to a random shopping website, let's say Amazon shopping website, and then we see a basket ka icon. So it's a shopping cart icon. We usually see a basket. Imagine there is something else. Instead of a shopping cart, there is a bag, or bag is reasonable. But if there is some other random icons in the place instead of shopping cart, so that will make the user feel overwhelmed. That will make them feel that this is not something that they have seen, and that somewhere does not create a sense of familiarity. And having a sense of familiarity is very important. So to enhance the user experience on a particular place, it's very important to have a familiarity wala the thing. And also we can simplify complexity, like we can take the bigger tasks, we can make them into smaller pieces. Like for example, we have to go through an app. So what do we do to easy navigation, since a user is coming first time on your app, and you do not know how you're going to ensure that user is going to stay there. So what do? You just break down the navigation. For example, at the first, when we are downloading the app, so there is a bunch of slide on pages, that this is the one of the feature of the app, and the next there is the second feature of the app, third and fourth. There are like four slides of what the app is all about before, including the sign in login wala page. So ensuring that, helps the user to understand what it is about, and being letting them, study about it. For example, let's see this. Here we have a mock-up of an app. For example, the app name is Shield. Here we are adding the welcome page, and then it has given some data about what the page is. Then we are talking about the first feature, that's emergency alert, and then about that something, and then the second feature, that is spy camera, and what is it all about, and the third feature about share location and what it's all about. So by this, we are ensuring that our user knows what they have come for and what they're expecting. So they now have an idea of what is happening in the app, and they're not clueless. So making a user feel that they know thing is very important when we are talking about a good UI UX experience. Next is also, engagement. Like, we are ensuring that there is a emotional connection. Like, usually whenever you see anyone pitching, or anyone talking about their product, when they're starting to come for a pitching about a product, they usually go by that this was the story, this is my personal story, that this certain thing happened to me, and then I decided to talk about it, then I decided to find solution for this because this was my problem I faced. So connecting a sense of, personal experience thing is helps you, the other person or the other user feel, oh, okay, I have been through this, so they feel relatable, they feel connected to you, and then that creates a very stronger bond and, deeper level of engagement. And the second thing is having emotional triggers, like we add like rewards. See, reward system is a great gamification tool. For example, no, everybody will love okay, for example, there is a dress of certain price. Okay, that's cool, that's amazing. But when you're saving a 50 rupees extra, or maybe 100 rupees, that is another joy. You feel, oh, okay, I saved up this. Oh, I'm getting this. So the coupons and rewards are a great way to keep the user engaged and interested in your product. The next is trust and credibility. So, having a lot of reviews. So, for example, if I have to go to a website and have to purchase something, I will ensure, because I want to know how the product looks on the other people. Like, what are they satisfied with the product or not? Because somewhere, uh, the person who is running the app will try its best to sell its product, but the user or the other people, reviews makes you feel like it's a little community space where you can discuss and be yourself. So that's a very good thing. And second thing is repeated designing elements till user trust, and encouraging repeat visits. That's a very great way of maintaining consistency, is very important. Let's talk about these are the role of psychology, how psychology plays in UI UX. Let's get into what are psychological principles? So, about the psychological principles, let's discuss here three psychological principles. The first is the Hicks law. So, decision time is a function of time of choices. It's like the more choices or the more options we have, the more we are indecisive about what to make, or what to do. So the more choices we get, the more we get indecisive, like should I get this or should I do this or what? So making the user more confused is sometimes a very bad thing, because yes, we all talk about having multiple choices, making it interactive, having a lot of things so the user is satisfied and stays on the same UI or for the UI or the app. But imagine having, reluctantly too many choices that we are not able to finalize something. So there are certain times where we need to, reduce the choices by limiting down the options, so that users can make, faster decisions. So after a period of time, we can add, take a little more time to load things so that the user can choose those things, from the limited options. The second is the Fitts law. So it's making basically about making, clickable items very larger and, within reach to ensure, user interaction. For example, let's talk about a food app. We are talking about a random food app. So what the usually the search bar, it is at the top left corner or somewhere over there. So it's, hard, for you to take your hand and search there. Instead, if we would have a search bar, at the bottom center somewhere of the screen, it's more easier for our thumbs to reach there and then just click on that and search food or search anything which we are searching for. So ensuring things like that will enhance the user interaction, and, you know making the items or the icons very large enough that they are visible is very important. And according to Getzer's principles, uh, we need to organize similar items and, in one place so that we can improve navigation and usability. So if they are like a similar kind of things or icons, we need to group them in a same place, not in they should not be vaguely here and there. So that's hard for our brain to process that these things. If for example, if they are in order, it's more easier for us to see and, understand, okay, this is this and this is how we are going to be processing it. Uh, Moving on to the next, it's about the creativity we add in UI UX. So first is, we are adding distinct identities. For example, we are creating designs which, creates a very distinguished brand identity. So it's like creating a very unique brand value. Like each brand has its own specific or, uniqueness. So ensuring that is very important. So, we see certain things, or we are like, oh, this is from this brand because this brand does something of this sort of products and this is the design usually they go with. So that helps people remember better. And, making interactive interfaces, like it creates some bond, very emotional bond, and it also creates some sense of loyalty. That is very important. Interactive interfaces are very important. Let's talk about aesthetic. Aesthetic are usually the visual hierarchy. So it's like it directs user focus towards, certain significant elements or significant stuffs. We are directing the user's focus, like you have to focus on this thing. We are highlighting certain things. For example, there is an app and we have to it's an emergency app, so we should make sure the focus is mostly on the SOS button. So ensuring certain somethings like that is very important. And even color psychology. For example, we have to use proper use of color. Like for example, the feel according to our feelings or behaviors. For example, red is usually for love, anger. Green is for, medicines and stuff. We cannot add random colors. There's a way how things are. We have to follow that. And, let's talk about experimenting. So like for example, non-traditional layouts, you know adding a very different weird layout may increase user interaction, like something that is not available in the market. So that, creates the hype. Oh, this is not there, so what is this about? People get curious. Curiosity is a very good thing, to bring in users. And, adding innovative like typography, it can enhance, brand character and stuff. And, we are considering animation and gives feedbacks. Uh we are adding animations that gives us feedback so that we can increase the interactivity is a good thing. Because anybody, we live in a very 3D world, everybody loves 3D here. It's very, that adds a very good point. Let's talk about the user feedback. User feedback integration will help us promote our product and will give us ideas of how a certain things can be enhanced and which sector is actually the demand coming from and which sector are we supposed to focus. And we are doing prototyping, that help us to allow us to experiment ki how ideas are and how those ideas are gonna look like by using, user testing. And let's talk about storytelling. For example, storytelling, it, creates a user flow basically. And the more the engaging stories are, it makes more humanly experiences. Like it makes us feel like we're talking. It makes us feel familiar, it makes us feel comfortable. It's like we're talking through humans. So, and that's somewhere, very helpful. Creating a personal touch is very important. That's what we understand by storytelling. Let's understand what is boosting creativity. Okay, in the boost creativity, let's talk first about mind mapping. So, making flow charts or mapping down or structurizing how our design or ideas gives you a better view that how we are supposed to go from the idea phase to how we have to start working it out. So it's a very great way to break down things and then get started with it. You can only break down things to build things. Okay, first thing. And yes, we can explore between the ideas, we can gather new ideas, we can encourage free flowing ideas without judgment. It helps us to create a creative environment, the first thing. Second is design thinking. So prioritizing user need and experiences. So yeah, focusing on that. We are focusing on how and what is the most relevant, innovative solutions we can come up with. And also we are also focusing on how we are enhancing those creativity through the feedbacks which we are getting, and by doing continuous prototyping, understanding what works and how it things works. Inspiration boards. In Figma, there is a thing called Fig Jam boards. So basically, you can brainstorm, and it's a very inspiration boards kind of things. So where you can no, usually in inspiration boards, you can collect images, colors, styles, so that you can clarify the direction of your design, and you can understand how and where we are going to stimulate the new ideas. We can also establish, a visual tone. It's like a tone through visuals we are creating through our projects, creative decisions through the design process we'll be focusing on. And let's also not forget about the collaborative workshops. Like we can do group brainstorming, bringing diverse people and then bringing in ideas and then working out. And then we can also do creative exercise, like we can engage in activities like role playing, sketching, and breaking down the things. So we are encouraging out of box thinking and stuff. Let's talk about practical examples. Having a very minimalistic design. So let's talk about how streamlines interfaces, to minimize the cognitive overload and stuff. For example, let's talk about Apple website is very minimalistic. They do not have any distraction, they have very minimal things there. Next, let's talk about micro interactions, like tiny animation giving feedbacks to add encouragement. For example, whenever we like, there is a visual of pop-up of like on Instagram or stuff, or even on the Facebook or YouTube. You just like, you like it and then it just highlights, oh, it like that is getting liked. And dark mode. Okay, this is my personal favorite, dark mode. It is It's very stressful to look at your screen. When you're continuously on your screen, the white screen start to, hurt your eyes after a particular point. Having switching it to the dark mode is one of the best thing. It's very low light usage and it's also very much comfort to my eyes. For example, YouTube, any other software. Let's go to Lead Code. Lead Code also have dark mode. I mean, we can switch the layout to black. And let's, understand how psychology and creativity, um, and what is the, bridge between the psychology and creative, how they are interconnected or how they're connecting with each other. Let's understand, the guide behavior. Like, for example, psychology is only understood to guide user behavior towards, the interactions and stuffs. So, based on the interaction, we can understand the user behavior. For example, there's a very famous quote like, design is not just what it looks like and feels like, design is how it works. It was told by Steve Jobs, if I'm not wrong. It's a very good quote. Let's talk about creative elements. Like, creative elements, it helps us to create engagement, then it creates a very, good memories or experiences for us or for a person. So when you design something for emotion, you're creating a connection that goes beyond functional. Okay, this was another quote from Antonio, if I remember right. And this is great. I personally love the quote. You should definitely read his books. Um, and next is user emotions. So let's talk about how user emotion, drives more rewarding experiences, like adding reward systems like gamification वगैरह. So it adds, emotions are the driving force behind our decisions. Emotions uh drives you nuts. You go crazy over things and you want to just try out for the hype, for the value, curiosity, and many more. And also adding functionality for, maintaining a balance between creativity and functionality is very important, because our head is not limited to certain things and we think about, we could do this, we could do that, this is possible, that is possible. But when we, sit down and see, there's so many things that are not practically possible. So ensuring that creativity and functionality stays in place is very important, because it is very important to look aesthetic, and working at the same time is very important. Let's talk about what are the tools we can do to achieve all this UI UX. First is Figma. Okay, Figma is a very easy working tool. Let's talk about Figma collaboration space. Okay, I love the collaboration space. Like, you can do live collaborations on design. You can do, there is called Fig Jam boards. You can do brainstorming. There's so many things on Figma where you can, as a group, you can set up and, design designs and, write the design process, how things should be, brainstorm stuffs. And it is also cloud based, so it can be accessed very easily from anywhere. Let's talk about Adobe XD. So it's good for prototyping. Like, it helps us to create very interactive prototypes to, help us test with the users. And it also offers very seamless integration with the help of, Adobe Creative Clouds tools, obviously. And next we talk about Sketch. Sketch is quite popular too. It's a vector based model, so it's about how scalable and, making more accurate designs. So, and Sketch has like hefty number of plugins. Like, there's so many plugins. That means lot more space for us to explore different plugins and see their functionalities and stuff. What are the best practices we need to follow for a good UI UX. It's, clarity, simplicity. Like, for example, we are putting at ease user, first to maximize the user experiences, like not making it overwhelmed at all. We are making, we are right clearly, and we are avoiding, those all those languages. We are keeping it very simple and concise, so that user can understand, grasp things, the content very well. The second is consistent navigation. Nobody likes a nobody stays more than 2 seconds on a page if they're continuously loading. So making sure the page is not, you know, somewhere inconsistent, or, continuously loading, or there is no, it's not smooth, people won't stay. So it's about making, utilizing recognizable patterns to create, a sense of familiarity first thing, and, having consistent placement of navigation point, so that we are making the user stay. The third is visual hierarchy. We are organizing design elements to align with, user goals, so that they effectively direct towards the attention. We are using size, we are using colors, and we are, giving space to highlight key informations. Like, this is certain information that needs to be highlighted, so user can, easily understand and navigate, so that we are giving a, comprehend content. So this is the content, this is the important part that needs to be highlighted, so the user can understand better or have an overall glimpse through those words. So we do that. So these are some of the best practices. And later, that's all. That's a wrap for the topic of understanding psychology, creativity, and how it plays a major role in UI UX. Thank you.